Number four, Ann, headline number four. You fought for this one. You fought hard for this one. So I'm curious to see why.
I did.
Box, the online player Box, is moving into on-demand fresh grocery with its latest acquisition. According to Grocery Dive, Box, the online seller of all those bulk goods that you know and love so well, and toilet paper, things like cereal, is acquiring Max Delivery, an on-demand grocery delivery company that serves New York City. The acquisition allows Box to expand into dark store fulfillment and rapid on-demand delivery of fresh groceries, with plans to scale same-day grocery service across additional unnamed markets. Financial terms of the deal, which is expected to close in December, were not disclosed. And I'm using the ominous voice intentionally. Why do you like this so much?
I couldn't tell if you were just congested or if that was your ominous voice.
Probably a little bit of both. As I mute myself to cough.
Well, I have to say, I think that this is a really smart move from Boxed, because Boxed is positioning itself to compete with Costco and the other large players here. And I don't think that you can compete without fresh grocery anymore. I think you have to have some component so that people can get all their trips done in one order, or as much of a trip done in one order. It's not saving me any time. There's no reason to go to Boxed and another grocery store. So I think this was a smart acquisition. I know it's still small, but I think that it's a good way for Boxed to start testing the waters and see in one of their top markets in New York. I also think we're going to see a ton of movement here, like in the next couple of years. We have Target going forward with multiple sortation centers. Walmart's getting into dark stores. And I think that what this comes down to is that convenience for customers is really this kind of blurred line of big box, grocery store, and warehouse club retailers. And whatever kind of like amalgamation of that you can put together is worth testing right now and seeing like where consumers are responding and what and how you're going to best serve them. I don't know what your thoughts are though. I mean,
I think you said the light bulb went off for you in the last one. I think it just did for me with what you said there. I think you're right. I mean, I think there's a lot of white space in the consumer shopping experience around bulk purchasing meshed with produce or fresh goods that you need. Because the problem with going to Costco is you don't need like that many avocados or that many oranges, right? Like you never, I mean, unless you have a big family, but for the smaller size family, you probably don't. So there is a white space to carve out a niche, in that. And I think it's cool that you brought that up, because it'll be interesting to see how the big players that are starting to use their warehouses more as kind of dark stores or fulfillment center operations that could get the advantage of bulk purchasing or bulk pricing, with the right branding and thought process around how to do that. There could be something here. So yeah, it's interesting to see Box do this. The one question I have and maybe someone listening can shed some light on this is, the one thing for me is these things, all these acquisitions are always out of New York City, right? Because New York City's got the density and all that.
Yeah.
And, so I just wonder like how much legs this has, but as a test to prove out your concept, it probably does make a lot of sense. But Box to me feels like the little engine that could, but just never does too, in a lot of ways. Like just does. I don't ever hear anyone, talking about it all that much out where we live or out throughout the country too. So I'm just curious what other people's thoughts are on it there, but I think you're bringing up a really interesting point for the future of grocery retailing in general.
Well, I was just going to say, I think that's going into middle America too, when you start to think about what's going to happen when Amazon Fresh starts going out too, because then you have Amazon, who we didn't even mention in this segment yet. But, if I can order bulk items and have them delivered to my Amazon Fresh grocery store, and then I can pick up, the one avocado, the couple of things for tonight's dinner in that space, that makes it a much more competitive situation too. And we know that Amazon's planning to do that, throughout the country very quickly.